Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of a Stoked Podcast with creative talk with creative people. This is episode 16. Wow. I've been doing 16 of these. This is crazy. Um, right on time. He's got good timing today. The co-host with the most, this man right here, Jamari Stokes. I am Javon Stokes. I am the owner, CEO, whatever you want to call it, of
Wayne Enterprises.
I am Bruce Wayne, of Visually Stoked Media, and once again, welcome. It's gonna be a good show today. I got a good dude on here. This is like the first time I've spoken to this man, but we talk once again. This is another one of these people who we talk on Facebook all the time, but we've honest to God never ever spoke like vocally. But we got Roland, but I'm gonna give him his flowery entrance in a bit. Before we go into it, welcome once again. Just a reminder, everybody, my Kickstarter pre-launch is going on right now. So for Strong Zero, right here. Look at that. Look at this right here. Wait, let me see. There you go. For Strong Zero is going on right now. So you can go to the Kickstarter campaign link right there. And then start following the campaign. And as soon as the campaign starts, boom, it'll let you know. You can come on and support me. But this is not about me today. Will be next week. Next week, I'm going to get into it a little bit more. But it's not about me today. So let me get out my flowery entrance. Got to do this. You know why? I'm going to be honest. I do these two is almost like little writing exercises. So it keeps my mind sharp. Because, I'm getting old. All right. Our next guest is someone I've known for a pretty decent amount of time, but I've quickly developed a kinship with them over the love of comics and comic-based entertainment. On top of that, he's already a pretty accomplished writer with multiple titles circulating right now, including Scarlet Ranger, his independent comic book, which is currently beginning another Kickstarter campaign. He's always opinionated, but rarely argumentative. Let's give a Stoked Podcast applause for the impeccable Roland.
Yo, what's good?
What's going on, man? We got to switch you around a little bit.
I'm a little dizzy now, thanks to you.
The
impeccable.
I like that.
Impeccable. You can have
Gotta
that,
sit up
man.
straight. Gotta sit up straight for that. You know
Stick your chest out. Say
feel
with your
better,
chest. Good.
Word.
Well, thank you for coming on. Man. I do appreciate it, man. As I've said to everybody, I've spoken to you on many a topic on Facebook, like a lot. But we never spoke. I don't think you even on top 5 yet. Have you been on top 5 yet?
I haven't. I try to stay away from the arguments. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get real heated on there. I'm like, I don't know if I want to be a part of that. I don't know. I got to get the right topic.
But you know what though? It's love, man. It's love.
For sure.
Hello, Kayla. How you doing?
Kayla.
Oh, you got Row fans up in here. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? We got Row fans? What do you call them?
Kayla is my artist on Scarlet Ranger. She's on Scarlet Ranger too.
Oh, okay. Well, you should have came on the show.
Yeah.
She is amazing. She is amazing.
I know. I read the first issue. I was able to get the first issue.
Well, so we might get into this later, but
okay, we can hold on for it if you want.
Okay. We can wait.
But you got to come on top 5, man. You got to understand, man. Nothing is said on top 5 is personal.
For sure.
We never take personal shots at each other.
But see, no, it's not personal. I know it's not personal, but my thing is, I just don't understand how y'all know so much about so many different things. Like, I feel like there's like certain topics that like I can argue. Like, we talking basketball, we talking hip hop. Like, I can argue those things. But we talking about like top 5 rom-coms. I'm like, yo, I don't even I don't know how y'all know so much about all these different. I admire y'all.
Well, can I be honest with you? We always don't know. Like
Oh,
Morgan straight up don't know. Like Morgan lies. Morgan lies, yo. Morgan will be like, let's do top 5, such and such. And then he'll like have no clue about any of it. Right. He'll go Google it. And then I'll be like, all right, and I'll start arguing it. And he'll argue it, but he won't know what he's talking about. Right, and then, and then Danny goes rogue. Danny just does whatever. Danny just like Danny's off the chain. But you got to come on, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on there.
You got to just pick a topic. Whenever we do a topic that you can, you kind of, all right, I can get a little bit on that. Let us know. We'll get you on. I know you were supposed to come on for one of them. I can't remember which one it was. I honestly can't remember.
Morgan, I can't remember either. He asked me a couple of times. I was like, bro, I don't know nothing about it. He asked me something. I was like, bro, I don't know anything about it.
Just have audacity. That's all it takes.
Yeah, you're right. I can
just
do that.
Have audacity.
Listen, all 3 of us, like we have the utmost confidence in our lists, even in their ignorance, even in the ignorance, we have the utmost confidence in our list. Right. Like my list is great. Like we what do we argue? Martial arts movies. I love martial arts movies, but I don't know that much about like martial arts movies like done in overseas. So I just be like, all right, well I'll figure, I'll do the best I can.
When you said that, the first thing I thought about was Danny saying Michael Jackson. What did he say? He only had like a 5-year run.
No, I don't want to get frustrated. So we're gonna get into the interview because that every time I hear it, man, I'm gonna make a T-shirt. I promise you, I'm gonna make a T-shirt and I'm gonna give it to him, and it's gonna say it, and I'm gonna be like, "You wear that? That's your Scarlet letter."
But he stood by it though.
Danny stand by everything.
Danny
stands by everything. It don't matter what the take is.
You gotta admire it a little bit.
Word.
He never backs down. All right, but let's get into it. Let's get into you. This is not about top 5. This is about Roland. You love comic books. We know this, right? Everything that comes out that's to do with comics, you generally comment on or talk about. You're a comic book writer yourself. I ask this question to everybody who does comics because I'm always interested in where that love came from. So how did you get introduced to comics?
I got introduced at a very young age. Before I got to comic books though, I was into the DC animated shows, right? Okay. So Batman, Justice League, Wonder Woman, all those. So I'm like watching those, and the appealing thing to me about comic books was that it wasn't like buying a novel where you're paying, $10, $15 to get a novel. Back then, you could get a comic book for $3, right? And so I was able to, every week I'm getting 4 or 5 joints, and I'm able to, read them. And then I love the graphic novels, right? And that was, amazing to me, just having these superheroes and not just the superheroes, but the artwork, right? You got these colors and then you got the dialogue, you got all these different elements that come into play to tell this story. And from a young age, I recognized just how different it was from watching like a movie or even reading a novel. I'm like, this is still storytelling, but it's just a different format. And I just fell in love with it.
Okay, you dated the hell out of me right there, because you're like back then $3. I'm like, right. Like all in my mind, I'm like back then, because I was getting them when they were like 25 cents. Not 25 cents.
Not quite that.
75 cents.
I was
75 cents.
Oh wow!
I do recall paying 75 cents for.
And you can't be that much older than me, bro. Cannot be.
How old are you?
I'm 34.
Dude, I'm 40, man.
Jeez Louise. Okay.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man. Oh.
No, I'm just messing.
Yeah, $2 and $3 comics for me was high school.
Yeah, no, you're right though. Like high school, it was like $1. Like, cause I would go to we had this little newsstand downtown Hartford. I think it's still there, but it's like something else now. But back then, it was just a newsstand. And you know, I was in high school. You basically paying like $1 something, maybe not high school. I would say middle school, excuse me. And in middle school, I go with like $10. I'm walking out with like 10 comics. I'm like,
right.
You know, I thought I was balling. Like, you know what I mean? Back then, that was great.
Right.
But then actually, I remember they used to have like these big, thick. Like if you went to BJ's or Sam, not Sam's, because this is BJ's, and then sometimes other places, it would be like this big stack of comics. And they would wrapped in plastic,
plastic wrap,
right? And it would it would have like all these obscure titles, like if it would be like a DC one and then a Marvel one, and it would have all these random books. Like, so every time my mom went to BJ's, I was like, yo, I need to get one, and it was like $20, but it would be like 50 books in there.
But see, that was the amazing time when you could get comic books out of the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't remember the last time I saw comic books in the grocery store.
I've seen them.
I haven't seen them in a while.
In the last maybe 5 years ago. That was the last time I saw them.
I'd have to consciously look for them if I were to try to do that now, because like comics for me, similar. It was my grandmother would go to the grocery store, and then I would go next door to the and this is dating me. The drugstore was called Revco, and I'd go into Revco, and there'd be a little stand, and I'd go through stands reading the comics. I just stood there for like an hour reading comics, and then my grandmother would come get me, and she'd buy me one. And so that's how I got into a lot of stuff early. So that that kind of stuff to me, that's crazy, because like
now now you gotta take out a mortgage if you trying to roll out a comic book store double-digit books. You gotta take out a mortgage, man. That's crazy. For sure. Yeah. So did you have any favorite titles growing up? Any ones that you follow like almost religiously?
I didn't have titles that I followed like I collected. I wasn't like collecting them. I was just, I would go in there. I remember I would get like cable. I don't even think I really understood that they were numbered in order. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I just knew that. Yeah. Oh, it's a story. You know what I'm saying? So I would just, and so I would just pick. I would have like number 6s here or number 10s there, just of random things. And I didn't really read, like the like Batman or Superman or things like that. But I read, like I said, I would get cable. I would get stuff that I wouldn't see on the TV show.
Right.
So I would get like cable, or I would get just random stuff. I do remember reading Venom.
Everybody read Venom back then.
Yeah. I do remember reading
Venom and cable. Everybody.
Yeah. But I wasn't like a big collector, because the other thing is that I wasn't allowed to read them. That was the other thing. So my dad, he was like real heavy on like, he felt they were demonic, right? And so he was like, we're not doing none of that. We're not reading none of these. And so that was the other thing too. They were cheap and they were small enough for me to be able to, stick them somewhere and hide them.
Right.
So I was just trying to get in where I fit in. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. So do you have any books you follow now?
I've been reading 7 Secrets. I've been on that heavy. What am I reading now? It's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. I had a huge pull, like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I had a huge pull list, and I had like Justice League on there, had Superman, Flash, had all these titles. I'm like, I really don't want to read these, like, because I realize they're just like recycling or to me, I feel like they're just recycling storylines. And so I'm more into like the Image, Boom, Bulk, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny, now that you asked me that, now I'm like forgetting all the titles that I'm reading from those. But a lot of more like independent titles that I'm following. And like I said, 7 Secrets. I got this joint I think it's called Rust. That's pretty cool.
I heard about that.
Yeah, that was a cool issue.
So you like independent, like non-traditional books?
Yeah, like most of them are not superhero books actually. Like I like stories. I like superhero books, but I'm writing a superhero book. But I really like stories, like fantasy and like East West. Did you read East West?
No, but I heard about it. It's on my list. It's on my list to get to read.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite joints.
That's with what's the artist's name? What is his name?
On his name right now.
I know I'm blanking. He's a really good artist. Don't worry about
it. Give the the pitch for that one, because I am the neophyte here. I do not know what this is.
For East West?
Mm-hmm.
So East West, so East West is set in a world. It's like an alternate history world where, so when the Civil War was happening, just imagine the Civil War does not go the way it went in regular history, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have like something from like space hits the earth, and it creates like this complete like ripple and changes like all these cultures, right? So you have like the Kingdom of New Orleans, right, where it's a bunch of Black people, you know what I'm saying, who they've created their own kingdom. And then you have the English nation, which is the the Native American people. They have their own nation. And then you have the Confederacy. They've created their own nation, and they're vying for control of this. It's basically like this prophetic book, right? And so they're fighting for this book, but you have the four horsemen, right? You got famine, you got death, you got what's the other two? Pestilence, and then war, right? So death has basically betrayed the other three, and the other three are like basically chasing him throughout this world, trying to. It sounds crazy. But it's 10 volumes of just.
Oh my god! I'll look into it.
It really sounds interesting, to be honest with you. That.
If I recall, there's a really good artist for it. I really wish I remember his name. Oh yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. Don't worry about it.
I'm just glancing at the covers, and I'm kind of like, okay. And you've just given me. See, I didn't even know that. Now I want to know more, because that's all. I'm already interested in that era of time to begin with. So yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it's very good.
Do you have any like creators you like to follow? Excuse me.
Yeah, I love Hickman. Anytime I can read something from Jonathan Hickman. I'm a huge Rick Remender fan. Those are my two mains. Like if they put something out, also like Scott Snyder.
Okay.
So again, for me, I'm more of like the modern.
I know. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have like the old school guys that I follow.
Do you like Grant Morrison?
I haven't read a lot of Grant Morrison.
You need to read Grant. If you like those three guys, you would love Grant Morrison.
Let me put it on the list. Let me put it on the list.
Yeah, Grant. He's got the Invisibles. That's his big thing. Invisibles. He did a really good Justice League run.
Okay.
But it's really non-traditional. He also did a Batman run, an X-Men run.
Yeah.
But Grant Morrison is really good. I like Hickman as well. But I haven't read as much of his independent stuff as I have his like I've read most of his Fantastic Four run, most of his Avengers run. I read a little bit of the X-Men run.
Yeah, I read a little bit of the X-Men run. But I'm the opposite. I haven't read, the mainstream stuff, but I've read.
Yeah, you read the other stuff.
Yeah.
He has was it 7 to Midnight or something?
Yes.
Is that Hickman?
Yes.
That's the book. You know what? That's not Hickman.
I think that might be Remender.
Is it Remender? Okay, it's one of them.
Yeah, 7 Till Eternity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Remender. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the artist I'm thinking about for that.
Okay.
Book. Okay. Yeah. I've heard about that book. I've read a little bit of it, not as much as I'd like.
Yeah.
All right. So you're reading all these comic books.
Yeah.
How'd you transition from comic book fan to comic book creator?
So the first thing that I ever started out writing was, that I remember writing was poetry. Started writing poetry. Then I moved into writing like short stories, and I was like, okay, I want to be a novelist. And then I came into realizing that, wait, people are actually writing these comic books. Like, they're not just coming out of nowhere. Like, people are writing these. I'm like, oh, I might be able to write a comic book. And the thing that I love about writing comic books is that, to me, it feels like writing poetry, because particularly the dialogue, right? Because you only have so much space. You only have so much space. And so I think the thing that made me fall in love with writing comic books was that I was using tools that I had already used in other forms of writing to tell stories in this format. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I came to comic books in a roundabout way, I would say.
Okay. What was your first thing that you did? The first book you wrote that was actually published?
So I wrote a 10-page short. Does that count?
Well, hey, listen, man. Whatever you think counts. That's your career.
All right, bet. So I wrote a this was probably like three or 4 years ago now. But I wrote a comic book short. It was called Beast of the Outer Lands, and it was sort of like a fantasy, alternate African type history, steampunk type of story. So I wrote that, and that was like, for me, that was like, okay, let me finish something, right? Because when you're a new creator, sometimes you can think, okay, I'm gonna write, the omnibus, right? I'm gonna write the 300-page, magnum opus. I'm gonna do this. And for me, I'm like, I just want to start small. And I also want to learn the craft. Like, I want to learn the craft. I don't want to spend too much money, and I want to do something that I can finish and put out. And so I did Beast of the Outer Lands, and I was able to find an artist, and he worked with me on it. It was a black and white comic, and actually it's on my website. If you want to go to my website, it's rolam.com. And yeah, on my website, boom, it's a free 10-page comic. So I did that one. That was my first official, what I would call self-published comic book.
All that you just said that you did, you did it small, and you did the opposite of everything I did. I was like, I'm gonna do an ongoing series. I'm gonna just have 1 million comics, and they're just gonna get done. I got to like 3 books, and I was like, my Lord. I was like, I don't know.
This is not what I thought it was.
This is not what I thought I was doing. I don't know if I signed up for this. This was crazy. So I mean, yeah, that's admirable, man. Like, you wanted to learn the craft. And did you actually get around to making writing a novel?
So I have written a novel. I'm on the 3rd draft of it. So I'm, it's an epic fantasy novel. So there's a lot of, world building, and so I'm in the heavy revision stage right now. I'm like, let me see, 11th. I'm on the 11th chapter right now of revising. So I'm just, trying to piece it together. So I got a couple more drafts to go before I think it's ready to roll. But it's there. It's there.
All right, I'm looking forward to that. I tried the novel thing. I wrote 1 novel in my entire life.
Word.
And I was in high school.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I don't know what happened to it. It was on my old computer. I printed out 1 copy of it, and it is lost to the winds of time.
In the ether.
it's gone. But that was hard too. Like, writing a novel. Like, I know a lot of people want to be writers, and they want to just start writing a novel. Like, it is difficult.
Yeah.
Like, even if you follow the steps to do it, write an outline and everything, it's really difficult. So it's admirable. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, my dad. So I mentioned how my dad was not very supportive in the beginning of this journey, but now he's like super supportive. And I was talking to him one day, and he said, "It's good to see you, walking in your gift." And I said, well, Dad, I don't really know if this is a gift. You know what I'm saying? I think, anybody can write. It's just a matter of getting in the chair. And my dad said, but that's the gift. The gift is that you're able to put yourself in the chair to finish what you started. And
That's right. That's right.
Okay, I'll take it.
I think I said this last week on the show. Like I read somewhere there was like I forgot who said it, but they were like the difference between me and somebody else is that I finished whatever it is that I'm doing. Like I finished it. Yeah. Like there are a lot of people out there that say they want to do something,
right,
and then they never sit down to do it. And even if they do sit down to do it, they might never finish it because of how difficult it is.
What it takes, right?
Yeah, right. So that makes sense. Like that, the drive is the gift and not the talent.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that. All right, let's talk about this.
Hey, okay.
Let's talk about Scarlet Ranger. Now, is this your first like published book?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you got so give us your elevator pitch for Scarlet Ranger. You telling this to somebody who's never heard of it before, never read a page. Tell us about Scarlet Ranger.
Yeah. So Scarlet Ranger is about a young man who inherits the mantle of Scarlet Ranger, the title of Scarlet Ranger from his grandfather. And throughout the story, his grandfather's greatest enemy breaks out of prison and begins to terrorize the city. And so we follow this young man, Dion Davis, aka the Scarlet Ranger, as he is fighting not just for himself, but he's fighting, to save a legacy and to save, his city and to save his family. And ultimately what this story is about is it's about learning how to honor the traditions that came before you while also learning how to blaze your own path and live your own life.
Okay. Now I have
where do I give you the money?
He's like, where do I
I'll
send you my cash out. I'll send you the cash.
Here you go. Why don't you got Rolam.com.
Hey,
just help you out. There you go. Everybody, y'all heard the pitch.
Yes, sir.
Go on and get it. I got mine. It's right in front of me. I you know what? I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I have a ton of these independent comics.
Yeah.
Yours might be one of the few that I actually sat down and read.
Okay. Oh, I was not expecting that, but thank you.
It's one of the. I got a lot because it's like there's a stack of them. But you know how it is. Like when you working, you know what I'm saying. You don't have time to read as much as you do. You know what I'm saying. So
I got a nice little stack right over here, bro. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then I just do kicks. Sometimes I just do Kickstarters and I forget that I've done it, and I just get a book in the mail. I'm like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did do this Kickstarter. Oh yeah, I gave that's where that money went.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us the genesis of the idea.
Well, honestly, it was. I tell this story all the time, but I was actually sitting in movie theater and I was watching Black Panther. I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, you know what? I need to do the thing like we just talked about. I need to do the thing that I say I want to do.
Yeah.
And I had some ideas, before that I was sort of playing with, and I'm like, I don't know if these are the right ideas, what I should do. And when I walked out of the movie theater, I said, you know what? I'm just going to pick an idea and I'm going to run with it. And so I had this idea for, this young tech genius who is originally he was the son of a superhero. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just pick a name. And I picked like a random color. I was like red. I think I might have used one of those wheels you can get online. I just used like a random wheel.
Color wheel. Close your eyes and just spin it.
Yep.
There it is. All right, we'll take that one.
It stopped on red, and I said, okay, let's go with Scarlet. We're gonna go with Scarlet. And then Scarlet what? And I went through these different things. I said, okay, let's do Ranger. We're gonna do Scarlet Ranger. Boom. And I was like, I'm not changing it. And this is what we're running with.
That's like there's like that Facebook thing that showed us like what's your superhero name? Like it's
right.
A, B, C, D. That's all right though. That's all right. Okay.
But I was right. I mean, for me, it was just like, I was even thinking to myself, like, should I be doing it like this? Should I be more? I'm like, you know what? Let me just get it done. I'm gonna just get it done, and we can figure all the rest of that stuff out later. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the impetus to get me going, and that was that. I just sat down and finished it.
That's all right, man. I appreciate that, man. Listen, man. The whole point of this show is to get creative people on who've done it.
Yeah.
And I don't like talking to people who want to do it.
Right.
There's a lot of want to do it out there, but so that's amazing because there's, and I've talked about this on the show a lot. It takes a certain willpower to create something and put it out there and actually like do it. And I admire anybody who has that willpower and is able to display it and to live their dream. Like this is one of your goals. You say, hey, like you said, you walked out and said, I'm gonna do this. So that it's always impressive to me because I know my story and I know how hard it was for me.
Right.
Is for me. Every time you do a book it's like moving a boulder up that you're moving it up and then it falls back down. All right, you did it, now do it again. So I do like that. Hold on, what does Kenji say? Kenji says, let's see, people don't want to do this, they want the success of it but not the in-between. That's very true. Nobody sees you in the midnight hour working, and struggling and stressed out and any of that. They just see the end goal. They see the pretty comic book. They see the beautiful comic book. I'm gonna just put this comic book cover up again. Shout out to Marcus. Marcus, what's Marcus' last name?
Oh, this not Marcus.
That's not Marcus?
No, this is Coy Carry-On.
Oh, it looks wow. Okay, my bad, Coy.
Yeah. So Coy also did the interior art.
Yeah, this here we go. I got that up there right there. Yeah. My bad, Coy. I'll give you your props. I don't appreciate my bad. This is a very similar style though, but that's a hot cover, man. It's very iconic.
Yeah. He killed it.
Yeah, he put his foot into it. So you got a number 2 out, right? Coming out.
We about to launch the Kickstarter for it. Yep.
Okay.
And that's what I was saying earlier. So we just had some scheduling conflicts. You know what I'm saying? So I had to find another artist, which is Kayla Rainey, and we're starting to get the pages back for that now. And it is. I mean, the work she is doing, it's amazing. We're gonna have a 5-page preview pretty soon in the next week or so. I'll be putting that out for everybody to see, and I'm telling you, like she's an amazing artist, So I can't wait to show everybody, the work she's been doing.
Hey man, we can't wait to see. Jamari, I don't want to talk over you. Did you have something?
I'm just listening right now. A lot of stuff. What I'm kind of really digging into is the conversation you're having about actually doing and actually achieving something when it comes to putting something together. That is one of the things I talk with Javon about and struggle with on my own, because I aspire to do things when it comes to creating. So that's
hey. Listen, we getting it done. Listen, I be putting my foot.
I don't speak on the things because
I put my foot. No. Listen, I run my business, so I'm gonna put it out here. This is exclusive. Jamari is going to be writing his first comic book. All right, it's going to happen this year.
Let's go.
And if you read the first issue of Heat that just came out, if you didn't, visuallystoked.com, holla at it. But hold on, I'm gonna help y'all out. Go on and get that visuallystoked.com. If you haven't gone getting this issue right here, if you haven't seen, you see these gentlemen over here to the left. That's if you have read the book, that's Defense Omega. They are the antagonists for the storyline that I'm running right now. We are going to do a 0 issue for it. We are going to do a 0 issue, and Jamari is going to write it.
Okay.
I'm plotting it out right now for Jamari. I'm helping him. I'm working him through it because Jamari is more of a traditional writer, but I'm helping him out through it. So I'm putting this out here so everybody can put the boot to your behind too. All right. I'm all about motivation.
Listening to you talking about learning the craft and going in and doing the short story aspect of writing, this is ringing true to things that I've been discussing with Jahan. So that's my commentary on that. It's like I love having these conversations with creators because it's very inspiring to me. And in turn, I get to take these things and turn these over to my more creative students. And I get to work in. If I can jumpstart them, then it jumpstarts me, and it's a lovely cycle.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's your motivate? Like, what motivates you though? Like, everybody's got their own internal, drive. What motivates you? What gets you up to sit in front of your computer and just go?
Man, I just love this. Like, that might sound cliche, but I just the opportunity to, when I was younger, people would ask me like, why do you like writing? And I would say because in my imagination there are no limits. And the opportunity to engage with thoughts and feelings and storylines, and there not being a limitation besides what I've put on myself, is exhilarating. And so when I wake up in the morning and I have an idea, that gets me going. Like that gets me like, yo, I gotta make this happen. Like I gotta do this. And it sounds cliche, but that really is what it is. Like I just love being able to do this. And I'm like, I have to. And in 2019, I left my job and I became a stay-at-home dad. I told my wife, I'm gonna be a stay-at-home dad, I'm gonna be a full-time writer. Let's take the kids out of daycare, because my entire check was going to daycare. So I'm like, babe, we take them out of daycare. Well,
I know that pain.
So we did that, and then I didn't write for like 6 months. And I was like sitting there one day, and I thought to myself, if I'm not going to honor this time, then I might as well just go back to work. If I tell you I'm gonna write and I don't do it, that's disrespect to everyone I told I was gonna write, and that's disrespect to my wife, who I told this is what I'm gonna do, and that's disrespect to the craft. So I said, oh no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna honor this. We're gonna honor this. And so I just started small. So look, we're gonna do a page a day. You know what I'm saying? And I just started there and gradually took it up. But I say that to say, for me, it's really just about the love, and it's about the opportunity, and it's about being able to share my heart. Honestly, it's about being able to share my heart with people. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is.
And it is putting your heart out there, man. Like if you've never done something bigger than you and put it out there for people basically to like criticize, like it's it's the thing, man. I'm glad you brought your family. So you're a married man with kids, like myself. How do you balance? Because you say you're a stay-at-home dad, so I'm assuming that you are helping with the kids and everything like that. Like, how do you balance the two?
Yeah, so for me, it's not so much about balance, but it's about being present in the moment, right? So when it's time to write, I'm present with my writing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm working on that. When it's time to be with the kids and it's time to do the family stuff, that's what I'm doing. And I think, for me, I just try to, have a schedule, have a routine that I get into. We get up in the morning, and now, so my wife, she started a business, and so now we can afford to put the kids back in daycare, right? So
praise Jesus.
For sure. So we wake up in the morning, we get the kids ready for school, get them ready for daycare, get them to daycare, get them to school. Boom, I'm back at the house writing. Okay, I take my daily nap. I got to take a nap every day. Take my daily nap, get up, go get the kids. You know what I'm saying? But I've done my writing for the day.
Right.
If I don't write, during the day or at some point during the day, my whole day is thrown off. Like when I'm with the kids, I'm thinking about, oh, I got to write this. I got to do this. So that's why I say it's about being present when I'm supposed to be writing. If I know I'm supposed to be writing during this time, boom, let's be present. Do what you need to do. I get that done. And now I can focus on the rest of the day. What do the kids need? What does my wife need? Boom. And I can do that because I've already done my work for the day. And the only time that gets messed up is when I'm not present in those moments that I'm supposed to be present. You know what I'm saying? And so I think less about the balance of it. And I think more about, just trying to make sure that I'm doing what needs to be done in that moment. You know what I'm saying?
So,
I mean, all right. I'll say mine real quick. I admire that because I struggle with turning it off. Like I really do struggle with turning it off. Especially like if I'm working, like right now I'm working, like, if I'm doing my comic book, if I'm not doing my comic book and like I'm with my son, it like my brain is like, all right, what do I have to do next? All right, I gotta do this. All right, I gotta do this. All right, I need to write a page. Let me start writing the page in my head. All right, in my head, I'm writing the page. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like I got like so many balls juggling in the air.
Right.
And like for me, like it's hard sometimes to be present.
Yeah.
And even like when I'm working on my comic book, then my mind is like, man, I wish I had time. I would love to be, spend time to be doing X, Y, and Z. That's not this. So when I'm with one, I'm always like, you know what I mean? So like, I admire that you are able to compartmentalize, that.
And it's not always
hard.
perfect. It's not always perfect. You know what I'm saying? But that's the goal. That's the ideal. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that'd be an amazing. That's amazing. I'm striving for that. I'm trying to do that. All right, I'm done. I'm not doing art today, or I finished my page for the day. Let me turn it off. Let me go do that. But I mean, that's amazing. Go ahead, Jamar.
One thing that I was thinking about is how is it that it seems like you are drawn to more independent stories and less superhero driven stories, but you are clearly doing it. You clearly get inspired by these things, and you had those inspirations like Cable and Venom. So how is it that there's such a divide in that switch now? How do you think that's come across?
In terms of what's inspiring me and like what I like to read and what I write?
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, it came from me choosing a story and not saying, well, no, I'd rather do this. When I said I'm gonna do Scarlet, because I had a bunch of ideas that I was playing with, and I was like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna do superhero. I want to do something a little. But when I left that movie theater and I said, pick one, and I picked one, it was a superhero story, and that's just what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Now I have other ideas, that are actually all the other ideas that I'm working on right now are not superhero stories. It just so happens that I made a commitment that whatever idea I was going to pick, that's what I was going to finish. And so I'm committed to finishing it. You know what I'm saying? And so now for me, it wasn't like, well, I don't want to I made a decision. I want to follow it through. You know what I'm saying? I want to get it done. And so that's how that came about.
Now, how long is Scarlet Ranger supposed to go?
So this first arc is going to be 3 issues. My long-term goal, I would like to get to at least 25 issues. And it, after the 25 issues, we may stop. I want to get a nice little omnibus, what I'm saying, of Scarlet Ranger that we can just,
Oh, those are nice, man. Nice little chunk of change you can get at the Comic-Con. You can be like, hey, you want to pick that up?
Right. So that's my goal. So we'll see.
So what sold me on your pitch was, and this was key, was the whole idea is it's a superhero story, but you talked about the aspect of legacy, where he's trying to protect the legacy and dealing with tradition, with him actually putting his own spin on it as well. So what are the things that inspired that? Is it something that's kind of come into your life through your own experiences, or is this just something you just thought about and you were inspired by something in particular?
Yeah, so it's funny that you asked that. So Kayla and I have been talking, a lot about the story and as she's doing the art. And she said, the more I get to know you, the more I see you in Dion and the more I see you in this Scarlet Ranger story. And I thought that was a very interesting statement because the more I think about it, I am in there. So my dad, going back to my dad, right? My dad was a pastor. My dad, played professional basketball. He got drafted to the Seattle Supersonics, and he played overseas for a little while. And I played basketball up until I graduated from high school. And growing up, I just knew I was going to the league. I knew I was going to the league. My uncles knew I was going to the league. Everybody who knew me knew I was going to the league. And if I wasn't going to the league, everybody knew I was going to be a pastor, right? My dad's a pastor, and I mean, it was I'm a junior. Rolando Lamb Jr. is my whole name. And I just remember my dad played basketball at Virginia Commonwealth University, and I live in Atlanta. And I went and applied for a job here in Atlanta. And somebody saw my name on the application, and they said, "Your dad, did he play basketball at VCU in the 80s?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, I went to VCU. I watched your dad play. He was amazing. Do you play basketball too?" And I say all that to say, I know what it's like to have something sort of hanging over you, right? Where people see you, people see your name, and they assume that you're going to follow a certain pathway. They assume that you're going to do things a certain way. And for a long time, I was trying to do things that way. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to be like my dad, playing basketball, or I thought I was going to be a pastor. I was a youth pastor for a little while. I would do those type of things. So I thought that's the lane that I was in. And so now I find myself trying to figure out, okay, how do I honor what came before me? But at the same time, realizing I'm really not doing the things that anybody thought I was going to do. Right. Okay. And so that's what you find in this story. That's what you find. You find, and one of the pages that you put up from issue 1, I remember, this one right here. Yep. This one right here. I remember I was thinking about what the theme of the story was. And I thought I had a theme and from the beginning, but then when these pages came back with this artwork on it, I looked at it and I said, oh, this is the heart of the story. This right here is about a father and because in the story, you realize he got the mantle from his grandfather. So the question becomes, why didn't his dad take the mantle? So now there's this tension between father and son, and that page right there, I'm sort of getting emotional looking at it.
That's all right, man.
That's the heart. That's the heart of the story. And I realized, it's just me. That's how I feel with me and my dad. You know what I'm saying? There's this tension. There's this thing there. You know what I'm saying? And we're good. We have a good relationship. But it's just this, it's just this thing. You know what I'm saying?
So I gotta ask, because I saw a thread on Twitter. And it was all these guys talking about the moment when they realized they weren't going to make the league, or that the league was a different beast. Did you have a moment, or did you decide you just didn't want to do it?
I just decided I didn't want to do it. I played high school basketball, and then I did an extra year of prep school basketball. And our schedule was we would get up at 5:00 in the morning, get to the gym, work out, eat breakfast. We would go to school, study hall, work out again, practice again. And I did that for 6 months. And I was just halfway through the season, I was just not halfway through the season. It was probably near the end of the season. I was just like, Dad, I don't want to do this.
I'm good.
I can do this, but I just don't want to do this. And it's funny, even now people will come tell me now, yo, I can't believe you're not playing basketball. You were killing it. You know what I'm saying? Even my dad has never told me this, but people have told me that my dad told them Rose going to the next level. but I just didn't want it. I didn't want it.
Yeah, I get it.
If my dad had told me, if my dad had said, bro, you really are good at this game, I don't know if I would have stopped playing. But he didn't tell me, so I stopped playing.
I get it, man. I get it. There's something about parents and whether your name is the same or not. I mean, I have my dad's name as my middle name. But when people figure out who I am, they know my dad. My dad was a well-known saxophonist.
Okay.
And I think for a long time, just like you, like I can totally vibe with what you're saying about like trying to be in your parents' lane. Those that know me know my mom is a pretty well-known artist around Connecticut.
Okay.
She's a painter, and she's an author as well, or was an author. My mom passed, and so like my whole life, I was trying to chase both of them.
Right.
Because my dad was a saxophonist, and so I was like, man, I need to learn how to either play saxophone or I need to play some instrument.
Right.
So I got to get good at it. So I think I tried trumpet, I tried saxophone. I wanted to play. I don't know if I ever told you a story, Jamari. I wanted to play keyboard.
I didn't know this about when it comes to the playing the instruments. I figured. Well, that's the whole thing too. But I wanted to play piano, and I remember my mom took me to this piano. This I don't even know what it was, but they were teaching people how to play, and they didn't have enough keyboards or something. So they gave me. This is in the 90s, so they gave me like the guitar piano with
the keyboard on.
Yeah, with the keyboard. I looked at my mom. I was like, "Yo, I'm not playing this. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm
not
good."
What I came here for.
Yeah, I didn't come for this. I gave it back to her. We walked out. Like that was it. That was literally the last day. But so I ended up playing the drums.
Word.
Right, and so my mom was a singer too. So for a long time, I was trying to follow that. So. Like I was always like trying to follow one, and I ended up like following my mom, obviously, but I didn't follow my mom the same way. Like I did with you, you know what I'm saying? Like you found your lane. I found my lane in art that was different from my mother's that fulfilled me. So I totally get how that is like, because it's it's funny. Somebody yesterday, I was at my daughter's, both my daughters did this like art. They did this art thing at their school, like a presentation where all the kids are putting up their art, and they're like, they're just like you. And I'm like, listen, I didn't do anything. I guess they just saw. And it's somebody asked my son, who has my name, like, are you going to be an artist like my dad? And I'm like, please don't. Like, just do whatever you want to do, son. Like being an artist is hard. Find something more lucrative.
yeah.
But yeah, I get it, man. I totally vibe with that, man. That's a great the themes of legacy and tradition and stuff like that. That's a great hook and a great catch for anybody. Anybody can relate to that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So when did you realize that you loved writing?
When did I realize I love writing? So my mom tells this story that when I was a kid, I wrote a story about a cracker that was trying to cross the road, and the cracker's trying to cross the road, meets all these obstacles in the middle of the road, crosses the road, and then falls into a puddle and melts. She said that's one of like the first stories that I ever wrote. I was like,
it's pretty dark, man. It's pretty dark.
I don't remember it, but that's what she says. And she said, I could read when I was 3. Like I've just always been around words and stories. And so for me, I think, I don't know when I fell in love with writing, but I know that once I realized that it was something that I could do, like every time, like I remember I was sitting in a basketball gym, guy sitting next to me, he's probably like 3 or 4 years older than me. He was writing in a notebook, and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm writing poetry." I said, "Writing poetry? Like we can write poetry?" He's like, "Yeah, just put some words together." I'm like, "What?" And as soon as he told me that night, I went home and started writing poetry. So it's like any time that I found that, it was like, hey, you could do this too. I was like, oh, really? And I just started doing it. So I don't know. I can't pinpoint when I fell in love with it. It's just always been something that I've just always just gravitated toward. I used to rap a little bit, and again, that was just, I had written some poetry. A producer saw some of my poetry, said, bro, you could put this to music. I started going in the studio and I'm writing stuff and putting it to music, but it was always about writing with words. You know what I'm saying?
Putting the words together and playing with them, and
it's just always been a thing
to do with them.
Yeah.
All right, so Ro, like I said, Ro and I, we've talked about many a topic. I can't even go through all of them. Ro always got something to say on my post. Like I be living my life, and Ro got to say something.
I be finding you. It'd be like somebody else's post, and you say something. I'm like, well, what about this?
Because somebody always got. Listen, man. I invite debate somehow, some way. Right. I don't know what. I don't even say that. I feel like I don't say anything like super controversial. But why are you making that face, Jamari? Like I don't even say anything. Like real talk, I don't say stuff that controversial. Like, come on now. So, a movie came out a couple weeks ago, bro.
Yeah.
Tell me how you felt about Doctor Strange.
So for me, walking out of the theater, what I said was, it was a good movie, but I think Marvel messed up because I feel like they made promises that it was gonna be like Endgame, it was gonna be like No Way Home.
Marvel never said that.
When we get off of this live, I'm gonna send you the article. I saw articles. Maybe Marvel didn't say it, but I definitely heard
Feige never said it.
What I'm saying is this: Marvel should have never let Cumberbatch make statements about the movie, because he was like, "This is just as good as Spider-Man: No Way Home." Go ahead, Jamar.
I'm just saying. You actually hit it on the head. It was a lot of stuff he was saying and putting out in the ether. You're right about that.
He would say stuff like, "Oh, I can't show you my makeup because it's a spoiler." That's all he would say.
No, he was saying some other stuff too.
No, he said this is just as good as Spider-Man: No Way Home. And there's
honestly, can I be honest with you? I thought it was just as good as Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Oh my god!
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I really like Spider-Man: No Way Home. Like, Jamari and I have talked about it a lot. Like, I really like Spider-Man: No Way Home. But I feel like it's one of those things where, like, I feel like it was really good. You know what it is? I feel like people like movies off feelings, right? Like the feeling of a couple of moments.
Right.
So like No Way Home had, the feeling of Andrew Garfield. You see, oh man, and then the feeling of Tobey Maguire, oh man. And then the three of them together, like that feeling that it engendered within people, they've held on to that, and it kind of elevates it in their minds. Because I remember when No Way Home originally came out, people were treating it the same way that they're treating Doctor Strange. Like people were criticizing it the same way they're doing now, but we have distance from it now, and now it's almost like microwave nostalgia. But it escalated.
That movie was pretty strongly liked when that came out.
No. I'm not saying that people didn't. I'm not saying that people didn't. I'm not saying that people didn't like it. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the level, like it was criticized very much like Doctor Strange is now, but like time from it has made people go, "Oh man, I love No Way Home. No Way Home was great." Blah blah blah. Because I remember coming out of No Way Home. I don't know. I think Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness needs a little bit of time. But because people go ahead.
I'm not saying that Doctor Strange wasn't good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, but I just feel like it wasn't. Like the thing about Endgame and No Way Home was that these were movies that, and I agree with you about the feelings, But the thing about the feelings was that these were stories that were like culmination stories, like culminative stories, right? Where it was like almost like the end of an era, right? So like this, like Endgame was like the end of the Avengers, like that phase 1, right? And then No Way Home felt to me like this is the end of a trilogy. You know what I'm saying? Like anything that happened.
Yeah, it was.
Right. So I'm like, they were like culminative stories. Doctor Strange was just like, it was a good movie, but it wasn't like a crescendo, if you will. You know? But I was like, that's what they were.
But I don't.
That's what.
But see, that I look at it differently. I look at it as it was the beginning. To me, when I look at Multiverse of Madness, to me, Multiverse of Madness reminds me of Avengers.
Right.
The first
Avengers. Agree, but that's not what they promised us. That's what I'm saying.
You keep saying they blame Cumberbatch. Blame Cumberbatch.
These articles. Wait till I put these articles.
I
want to see these articles.
I think the problem is that the world, or the culture, was very much obsessed with the potential tie-ins because this movie had so many ways it could go, because people have been waiting for the X-Men to show up. People have been waiting for the things going on from Loki, from the TV shows, the multiverse stuff. We know that Ant-Man is going to have this Facebook. We were waiting, and by and large, it touched on a lot of those things. It just didn't touch on it the way I think people wanted it to.
People wanted it, right?
I think people made a movie in their head, and the movie in their head wasn't the movie that they got, and they're mad. And I'll tell anybody that, we didn't see Tom Cruise's Iron Man. We didn't see. We didn't get the introduction of mutants. We didn't get, guys, they never said they were going to do any of that. Sure. People did that with WandaVision. People did that with Falcon and Winter Soldier. People did it with Loki. People keep doing it all the time. It's annoying.
Every Marvel movie.
And this is the problem. This is if there's one thing Marvel has created for itself, a problem it's created, is that Marvel has made it that everything that comes out ahead must either pay off on something that's already been established, or it has to set the table for something else. And sometimes both at the same time. It did do those things.
Multiverse of Madness, people aren't paying attention. I feel like I'm the only person that paid attention to that movie sometimes. I'm like, yo, guys, they just set up the entire crux. They probably just set up the entire crux of what phase 4 or whatever phase they're in right now, but the next couple of phases. Like the minute they mentioned incursions, I was like, there it is.
Yeah.
I was like, there it is.
And
I was like, I'm amped. I'm excited now.
What is the thing
I felt the same way.
What's the thing most people have said this is probably ultimately heading down towards? 2 things. You said one of them a long time ago.
That's exactly what the movie was, Facebook user. It was a romp through the multiverse, and you did get alternate versions of characters. Like we that's exactly what we got. Did you not see? Did we not see a different Captain Marvel? I missed that. Did you not see a different Captain America?
We got like 3
Chris
versions.
Evans doesn't have boobs, y'all. Chris Evans doesn't have boobs. I just want y'all to understand. I know there's a lot of discussion about gender.
You literally got the introduction of the Fantastic Four. You got an introduction to the version of the Fantastic.
We got Professor X in the yellow chair, folks. In the yellow chair. That made the movie for me. I was like, all right, this movie's great. I don't care what else happens for the rest of the movie. It's a great movie.
I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I just think they didn't. I still think the way, let me not say Marvel. Let me say the way that Cumberbatch. So
your beef is with that. Okay. Your beef is with that, not with the actual movie.
Well, no, I don't even have beef with it. I'm just trying to understand why everybody thought it was gonna be. Because I think that's why people didn't like it, because they thought it was gonna be Endgame level. They thought it was gonna, like when you say we're gonna have introductions to other characters in the multiverse, I'm sure people were thinking,
"Oh, nope."
Is that Danny? Time out. Is that Danny? That's Danny. That's Danny. I'm not. Nah. Danny, stop. That's Danny. I know Danny. Danny said the same crap last time. No, stop it.
So,
oh man, yeah,
That's Danny. No, I'm not putting no more of your comments up, Danny. Nope. No, we're not doing this.
I think I will say
But
one
this is
thing
the
that
same
probably,
argument. Oh, go ahead, Jamari.
I think one of the things that also really hurt this one by comparison, because I think there was really big hints that it might have more connection to No Way Home than it actually did, which did not necessarily happen. Getting back, but also the thing that No Way Home did very well with the use of nostalgia is that it earned its emotional beats all throughout. And you don't necessarily get those same emotional beats that you got there and maybe in some other things lately, especially when that was the thing that kind of drove that movie home so well and connected so much to the audience. And Strange this is not that movie.
Wait,
I'm not. Remember, I'm not saying that that's
movies.
right.
I know,
I'm
but
just saying that's probably what happened.
That's like 10 to 11 movies of buildup.
Yes,
right.
That's what I'm saying.
But I feel like
Jamari, but this is my argument though.
This was my
argument though. This is my argument is that you cannot go into every Marvel movie expecting Endgame. And I feel like everybody does that now. When Black Widow came out, Black Widow was a perfectly entertaining movie.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like the greatest movie on earth, but it was an entertaining movie.
It was good, right?
It was good.
But that's the tint that Marvel has created for itself.
No, Marvel didn't do that. Fans did that.
But they're the ones who set up. They've set the table for these things. And
it's
eating itself within its own family.
I agree.
No, I disagree. Fans did that.
I'm not.
Fans go in there anything that Marvel puts out. People, if they don't get that goosebump feeling that Endgame's provided.
Correct.
Oh man, this isn't that
Correct.
good.
But see, I think this is the cost of success, though.
Oh no, I agree.
When you do something, it's like you can't backtrack. You gotta. And this was my argument argument about the Eternals. Like when I watched the Eternals, I'm like, I like this movie. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the best movie that I've ever seen, but when I go see the movie, I'm not thinking like, okay, this needs to be in-game level. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that's what the average consumer is thinking when they're going to see movies.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
I just think Marvel's trying new things now. Like
they absolutely are. But
what frustrates me is that the same people who complained about Marvel in their formula,
right,
for years were complaining, oh, Marvel has a formula. Now Marvel is like, all right, we're gonna break the formula and we're gonna do something different, and we're gonna do and now you getting different stuff. And that's different. I don't like that.
I feel that is your spot on, because Multiverse of Madness had a lot. It was more of a Sam Raimi movie than it was a Marvel movie by comparison to anybody else who's ever gotten those reins. He got a lot of leeway to do different stuff. Only person I feel like who's gotten the same would be Coogler.
No, I think the Eternals director did a lot of things different.
Yeah.
Fair. I won't say you're not wrong.
She did a lot of things differently. Is he in the living room?
Yes.
Okay, close the door, buddy. Okay. Y'all didn't see this, but this little boy literally kicked in my door, like the popo, with anger on his face because he can't find his car. I wish I could have recorded that. Like he was like, he burst in the door.
Wow.
What's up, Jasmine? How you doing?
Boom.
Jasmine W is gonna be on my show, y'all. Jasmine W is gonna be on my show. I can't wait. Okay, so what are your feelings about the upcoming Black Panther movie? Because we've argued about that too.
Yeah. For me, I think it'll be a good movie. I feel like we've been on the same side of this argument.
Were we?
I think we need a Black Panther. Like I'm not very excited about it. I think it'll be good because it's Marvel, but I think we need a T'Challa. I mean, And I feel like you and I were arguing with Morgan about this.
I mean, I argue with Morgan about everything.
Right.
There's
but we was on the same side of
very, yeah. I mean, I haven't heard that trailer better be phenomenal. That's all I'm saying. That trailer needs to be the best trailer I've ever seen in my life.
But I feel like
I haven't heard a lot that made me
things.
Yeah, to me, Marvel has pretty much Marvel hasn't put out a movie that I was like, man, this is terrible. Like flat out terrible. I think I can watch every single Marvel movie and at the very basic be entertained. Like I might walk away going, it was all right, but I wasn't like bored. Like I was bored to tears watching Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League. I was bored to death. Like I honestly, I remember sitting. I didn't even watch it in the theater. What'd you say?
I loved every second of it.
Oh my god! Please tell me you're lying.
I loved every second of the first one and the Snyder cut. I love, but here's the thing.
I'm triggered.
But here's the thing.
I'm triggered.
My thing is this. I understand why people don't like it. I just think I have a very because I grew up on the animated shows and I love the.
You should hate it then.
But for me,
no,
I'm
you should hate it then.
See, I don't look at it that way. I look at it like I've been waiting to see these characters on the screen for so long.
Like I haven't seen them.
Huh?
I don't know who they were, but you still didn't see them. That wasn't Batman. I don't know who that was.
Look, I'm not saying y'all gotta like it, and I understand, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand why people don't like. Like, I look at it, and in my mind, objectively, I can say there's something wrong with this.
Yeah, but there's a lot wrong.
I still enjoyed watching it. I don't know what to say. I just enjoyed it.
I liked the Snyder cut better once I watched it a second time, but I don't necessarily.
You watched it twice? Oh my god! I don't have enough time.
I can't do it again. I don't think I don't know if I can do it again. But there's pieces of something good, but the way it just, I don't trust Zack Snyder with anything.
I mean, he did a good Dawn of the Dead movie. I give that man credit for Dawn of the Dead. I give him credit for 300.
300. Okay,
that's it.
I'm going to give him 300.
That's it.
I absolutely have to give him 300. 300 was a religious experience for me. But
300 to me is still there are a lot of people. There's a lot of y'all, and I say y'all, and I don't mean necessarily you, but there's a lot of y'all who watched the movie with 300 that swear by it. And I remember going to see it, and I walked out that was okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted someone
this the movie.
I needed a person outside the theater
I didn't
with
get
the DVD in
that,
hand to sell to me at that moment. That's what I really wanted. I really wanted to go home with that movie. I watched it 3 times in the theater, and I don't know how many times on DVD.
Yeah.
I walked out that was okay.
I have to give him 300.
That was good.
So
I might have. honestly, I don't think I've watched it again since.
No,
I'm not trying to be a contrarian. I just to me,
fine.
It was I just thought the story was really paper thin. It had some good action scenes. The visuals were very good.
Yeah,
but it wasn't deep. The movie wasn't.
Oh no! Do I think it's deep? Hell,
it wasn't thought provoking.
That was not what I'm. Some movies are. Again,
No, I know some movies aren't that, but they're like I said, y'all swear ball, man.
So,
yeah,
I'm gonna go. Back
I didn't get the testosterone pump that most guys got from it.
I did.
I didn't.
What man?
I'll watch
when he kicks him in the well. That's the best part.
What? Man, you know what it is? If I didn't see that on the trailer or the commercials, I probably would have felt different. But you saw on the trailers and the commercials so much, it kind of loses value by the time you see it in the movie. You're just like, okay. Not for me.
Not for that one, but I get it. You make a point because I know that trailer too well because that was back when a lot of people, a lot of anime fans were remaking it in the form of some anime. Like I remember Bleach doing it. People did it with Naruto. So I know that trailer way too well. You're not wrong.
I can't believe you like Justice League. I still can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think I've ever heard that take from you. We might have argued to the crack of dawn.
Because I don't argue about it. Because
I know that's probably why you're very much like, okay, well I disagree, and I just be like, okay, all right, okay,
I disagree.
I can't argue with like a truth. Like if you say, look, the story is disjointed. Yeah, like or Snyder uses too much slow-mo.
Oh my god!
Oh gosh, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, if you cut his slow-mo,
how do you
cut his slow-mo from the Snyder cut? That movie's like a half hour long, yeah. For real.
How is it that you take the Flash and
make him look slow?
You make him look slow, and you also like the entire sequence where he's saving people going up and down those stairs. Mm-hmm. That broke my heart. Like you really broke that. That's the worst way to show.
I'm glad I didn't spend my money on it. I'm just glad. Did you see? Did you like Batman versus Superman?
Yeah, for sure. But see, that's what like
you look like you struggled with that for a second.
For me, it's not like I don't think about it like. Well, let me put it like this. It's not like my top favorite movies, right? But I just enjoy my time watching it. You know what I'm saying?
That's fine. No. I got you.
I can't, it's like when people say, like, what are the crappy movies that you like that nobody else likes that you like?
Right.
It's like that for me. You know what I'm saying?
But
like,
I'm
not going to recommend it, but I thought
I feel like the way you feel about it is the way I used to feel about comic book movies like back in the day.
Okay.
Like Daredevil, like when Daredevil came out, I remember coming out and like, oh my god, we got Daredevil.
You're just happy to have something,
right? You're just happy for it.
You're just happy to see it. You hope it's good.
And then you watch it again later on DVD, and you're like, what the hell? What was that? Did they just fight on a?
I feel that way about the first Suicide Squad movie. I know it's terrible.
I never liked that.
I know it's a bad movie, but I can watch it. I like it for the campy bad parts of the movie. I like seeing Cara Delevingne or whatever, however you pronounce her name, and she's like waving her hands, looking crazy. I'm like that.
Oh my god!
I'm like the campy goofiness of that movie. I don't take it seriously. And that
when Will Smith goes, "What are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad?" I was like, "All right, I'm done here. I can't watch any more of this. I can't watch any more of this."
No, like if there was a line for me in that movie, it was the Harley Quinn line. What do you expect? We're the bad guys.
I'm glad I didn't pay for that either.
At the same time,
but I did like the second Suicide Squad.
It is fun.
That one. James Gunn knows what he's doing.
Yeah, James Gunn is really good. All right. So we're not gonna hold you forever because you got to get to writing. But we do have one last segment.
Wait, hold on one second. I'm sorry. Can we talk about one more thing first?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I really want to talk about Killmonger. I really want to talk about.
Oh, let's talk about Killmonger.
I really want.
Let's talk about this man
because the last live that I intruded on, the last live that you were having an argument and I intruded on your conversation. You said that he was a coward. Okay. Now I don't know if I could get my point across, but I think for me, when you say coward, I don't look at Killmonger as a coward because Killmonger decided what he was going to do and then he did it, right? I feel like what you're saying is he's a coward because he had an opportunity to choose the right way and chose the wrong way. Am I characterizing that right?
Yes, and his leaning on violence towards people with less power than him makes him a coward too.
So,
And I mean, there's a lot like that. His inability to process, or his refusal to process the
grief
that he's going through outside of expressing it in a violent way, is cowardly to me. But yes, go ahead.
He had no intention of making it better. He was only hell bent on destroying something he felt represented destroying his father, which, okay, we understand why he's angry. But
hold on. My thing is, when you say making it better, so a person can be wrong about what it takes to make something better, but that doesn't mean that they're not actually trying to make something better.
Yeah, I disagree on that one. No. I got this. No, I got this. No.
There's one scene in particular, but go ahead. I'm gonna let you go.
No. Listen. If I say I'm going to fix my car, and the first thing I do is reach for a spark plug to pull it out, and a perfectly good spark plug, and somebody goes, wait, if you do that, the car's not going to work. I'm telling you, the car's not going to work. A mechanic tells you the car's not going to work. And you go, I don't care. I'm going to do it because I'm going to fix my car. And you pull the spark plug out and you just try to drive it and it don't work and it breaks down.
Yeah.
Even though you think you're trying to fix the car, you know what you're doing isn't going to fix the car. Did that not work? Okay. It didn't work.
Let me try.
So, but no, like Killmonger had no intention on truly helping people.
No.
Because if he, honest to God, had any intention on truly helping people, he wouldn't need the throne of Wakanda to do it. He made the point before their fight. He's like, I shed blood and across the world, I shed my own people's blood to get here at this moment. So he, at that point, is acknowledging, man, I killed a lot of people just to get here, to kill you, to get the throne, to basically, and then Ross says it in the movie, like he's doing his training. His training is to destabilize and tear everything down, and that's what he did. And that's why, like, his first inclination when he's talking about helping people is to give people weapons, as opposed to having all this technology that can literally help a man who's paralyzed, who can, what did it do for Bucky? It helped the traumas
and helped him with trauma.
Yeah, helped with traumas. He got a bionic arm. Instead of taking that technology and actually going out and helping people, you incited civil war, knowing good and doggone well civil war was happening.
Okay, so here's the thing. We agree. I'm gonna say this real quick, Jamar. We agree that his methodology was wrong. There's no question about that. But what I'm saying is, just because we disagree with the methodology doesn't mean that he doesn't think what he's doing is right.
It doesn't matter what he thinks.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter.
Ultimately,
but it does.
It's like if I inject a person with poison, just kind of similar thing he's talking about, and someone's like, "Why are you giving them poison?" I'm trying to help them. That's not. It's still going to kill them. And to even further the point,
I got a better metaphor. But
you would have.
No. I got a better metaphor. George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman thought he was protecting his neighborhood when he shot Trayvon Martin. He thought he was doing the right thing. Doesn't matter if he thought he was doing the right thing or the fact that he did the wrong thing.
Like I said, we can all agree he was wrong.
Yeah, but you said it doesn't matter what we said. It doesn't matter what he thought. It matters what he did.
But what I'm saying is, in terms of how we characterize him, right? So, like, if I don't, me personally, when I look at Zimmerman, we might say he's a racist, right? We might say, you know, a lot of things about him, but I don't know if I would necessarily characterize him as a coward. If he's
I would absolutely characterize him as a coward.
But why though?
He shot. He killed a young man that was half his size. What was it? It was like half his size and more than half his age.
Right.
Because he was afraid of him.
Right. But so
it was a cowardly act.
What I'm saying though, let's go back to Killmonger.
Right, and Killmonger literally choked a woman.
That's what I was trying to get to right there. All
she did was say, we shouldn't do this because if we need more kings, we need to be able to give him more. And he was like, nah, burn that.
And that's my point.
Once again, he's not trying to help anybody. He doesn't care about Wakanda, dude.
He was never.
At no point did this man care about Wakanda.
He didn't say. First of all, he didn't say he came to help Wakanda. That's one. He said he came to help who? The African American.
The same black people that he killed.
Because he was only interested in revenge and power.
That's the only thing he wanted.
He was that's truly what he was interested in. That's it.
But my point would be, sure, those might be the only things that he was interested in. But again, his methodology could be wrong. But if he says, look, I'm trying to get power, like you said, he shouldn't have sent those weapons because he knows good and well that that's not going to help them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people in the world who believe that that's the way you help. Now those people I would say are wrong.
I understand what you're saying, but if he keeps talking, but he keeps talking about like his whole rhetoric, the entire movie was, oh man, y'all sitting up here nice, y'all ain't out there helping people. There's people dying and people That's his whole rhetoric. But as soon as he got in power, he didn't say, man, we need to get aid. He didn't say, let's open up the kingdom for people and everybody in Africa to come in. He ain't say none of that. All he said, hey, put some guns in some crates and send them out to the people.
But that's what he came to do, right?
Part of that is destabilization because
that's the point. So he ultimately
knew that would have came back on Wakanda.
He was full of it.
He ultimately knew that would have came back on Wakanda.
He was full of it.
In fact, when we watched What If, that proves if he wins his way.
What if
that's exactly what he's going to do?
So here's what I'm saying. I would agree with you if he never sent the weapons to the people he said he was going to send the weapons to, because then that would say to me he's not coming to do what he said he came to do.
But that's not what he said he was coming to do. He said he was coming to help people.
So
he said he was coming to help people.
So you're saying his intention was to help. And that doesn't make him a coward because even though in his mind, his actions are supposed to help.
His entire point when he first sat on, remember when he first sat on the throne? Well, actually, not even that. Forget that. When they brought him into the throne room in chains, he's like, "Oh, y'all sitting up in here safe," and He's like, if you believe that, well, if we have the technology to help people and we shouldn't be closed off to the world, why do you stay closed off? The first thing you say when you get on the throne is send guns. That's not helping people, dude. You're inciting war. Not only are you inciting war, you're inciting civil war within your own kingdom.
Right. But what I'm saying though, so I agree with the principle that you're laying out.
You just don't like the word coward.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's really the way. Y'all don't like the word coward.
Right. I'm just saying it's possible to disagree with the methodology. Like it's possible for somebody to be wrong and not be a coward.
Yeah, but if the actions they're taking are cowardly, then I would disagree and say like he is cowardly. He's everything he does within the movie is a strong person preying on the weak.
He uses that woman and discards.
He uses it. Yes, he uses and discards this woman in the movie.
Clearly had a thing for him.
Right. Clearly had a thing for him. He killed. Hold on. He kills this random white lady who's just there doing her job. It's not like she was the one that was stealing all the artifacts.
She was
like,
not. She was no match for him.
Okay, doing her job. That lady was probably making like minimum wage, dude. She was living. she wasn't doing nothing. She got up for work. She had her coffee and then got killed because her bosses stole some stuff. Everything he does is about power, strong over the weak. That's everything he does, and to me, that's cowardly. To me, that's cowardly. Which is why, as soon as he got like global power, it became a global power. All right, now I got to lord my power, our weapons, over the rest of the world.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Everything is cowardly. He never takes the harder road. The harder road is the one T'Challa ends up taking at the end of the movie, which is opening Wakanda up to the world and actually providing help. Like that to me, there's no strength in having power and lording and using it against weak people. There's no strength there. It's actually cowardly. That's what I mean by him being a coward. Because every time he gets power, literally, he went from, as soon as he gets the herb and gets superpowers, what does he do? Choke a black woman.
Right.
The first thing he does when he wakes up, choke a black woman.
Right.
That's the first thing. So that nobody else can have the power he has.
Exactly. Then he's like, nope, I'm the last one. Burn all this.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, like I said, he's absolutely a villain. He's absolutely misguided.
Man, if I hear one person say Killmonger is right, I'm gonna throw something on him. Man.
No, I mean, I don't necessarily think he was right.
I'm so tired of hearing that, man. I'm so tired of hearing black people say Killmonger is right.
That's an easy one to disprove because, and once again, you kind of bring up a good point about why. But I see what you mean. I understand why you say you don't like the term coward. I understand.
He's not the first person.
I don't think he's a coward. When I think of coward, I think of somebody who is too afraid to act on their beliefs. That's what I think about a coward. That when you say coward, that's what I think.
But I would say that fits though.
And that's why I would disagree, because I think he had a certain philosophy and belief system of the way things should go, and he acted on that. The fact that when you say like might makes right, you might say that's cowardly to feel that way. And I would just say, I don't know if I would consider that to be cowardly. I would consider that to be wrong.
Well, I'm not saying might makes right. I'm saying the strong prey on the weak is cowardly to me.
But
that's two different things.
His philosophy is might makes right. So because I have more power than you, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and can't none of y'all do nothing about it. You see what I'm saying? So to me,
that doesn't make you brave, though. To me, that doesn't make you brave.
Well, that might be the better term in your case. That might actually, you said it right there, bro. It doesn't make him brave because he does operate on a might makes right scale. Killmonger is about power, so that makes sense. I understand. I understand both points.
Because I think it, like if you're a bully, like if you're the biggest kid in the class and you're picking on the little kids, like you're not strong. You're not a strong dude. You're not brave. You're a coward. You're a punk. And usually, as soon as that kid, a bigger kid comes across, then they show themselves. As soon as T'Challa showed his face, did he go man up on him one-on-one? No, he did not. When T'Challa came back at the end of the movie, T'Challa came back,
you talk about at the very end.
At the very end, T'Challa came back and said, "Hey, the ceremony ain't done. We need to finish this." He was like, "No, I ain't doing it." He's like, "No," and then sent his folk out to go get him.
Right. Again, I don't necessarily think that adds up to cowardice. I think that just adds up to the philosophy of might makes right. I got all this power. I'm gonna just, whatever. But
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if the bullies bullies tend to fall back as soon as a bigger kid comes along. Then they show their cowardice. But I mean, we're actually going back and forth on semantics. You just don't like the concept of cowardice.
Let me
go
get
ahead.
his last example, and then we can move to the next segment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Scar from Lion King is a coward. The way he went about dethroning Mufasa, killing Mufasa, that was cowardly. When I look at Killmonger fought him for the throne. You know what I'm saying? He didn't try to do no backdoor stuff. He stepped to him and he did what he had to do. So to me,
but I see where you're coming from.
That's why I say I don't look at him and say, yo, he's a punk, he's a coward, this, that, and the third. I can look at him and say, yo, your methodology is a little jacked up. You know what I'm saying? I might would have done it a little different, but you know,
it's funny you say that. It's funny you use that connection because
I could go further on that, but
both stories are Hamlet, and he would be the king coming in, sneaking around, trying to do. So both characters are literally the king sneaking in, coming through the back way. So
I could go further, but I get what you're saying. Once again, you and I are talking semantics. It's really you boil it down to the use of like we agree, but you just the term coward that I use is
you guys have different definitions.
I just want to have that conversation.
I know that's okay. You're not the first. You're not the only person. Like me and Morgan go back and forth on that. All right. So before we leave,
that's cool.
Before we leave, we got to do this. We're gonna do our top 5.
All right.
And since you're a writer and you have very eclectic taste, so I'm really interested to see what are your top 5 comic book stories that you love.
Ooh,
it could be an arc, it could be an entire run, whatever you want to say.
Let me I'm gonna make a little list.
See, all right, so I gotta do the same thing.
I could probably do mine off the dome, but
you might have to be the ones that do.
Do I need to go first?
You need to
go first.
In no order, so you don't have to worry about an order. I like Why the Last Man. I don't know if you've ever read that. Great book. Those people that know who didn't watch the TV show, Why the Last Man is basically a book about if all the men in the world died except for one, and all the women were in charge and took over. It's a fantastic book. I every time somebody who doesn't read comics asks me what they should read, I give them that. Number 2. Oh, this is tough. I'm gonna say Preacher. I love Preacher. I read Preacher. I read Preacher at least 2 or 3 times a year, start to finish. I love both. I love that. I love that book. I'm looking at my collection right now. I love Grant Morrison's Justice League run, the entire run. It's incredible. It's an incredible run of superhero stories, which I once again I read it 2-3 times a year. That's 3. Number 4. Oh gosh, Nightwing. Chuck Dixon, Scott McDaniel, their run of Nightwing is damn near perfect for me. That's 4.
You said Chuck Dixon?
Chuck Dixon and Scott McDaniel.
Yeah.
Have you ever read it?
Some of it. I haven't read the whole thing, but I read some of it.
Still great. Chuck Dixon, Scott McDaniel.
Yeah, for sure.
And then last but not least, man, this is tough. I'm gonna say there's so many stories I could say. Oh my gosh, this is tough. You know what? You know what? I'll give it to him. Kurt Busiek and George Perez's Avengers run. I love it. I read it all the time. So that's my 5. That was tough. That could probably change tomorrow. that could change later tonight, actually.
Yeah, these are definitely
It's hard, man. That's difficult. You good? Who's ready?
You ready, Jamar?
I can roll.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mine is gonna be very weird, but I don't care.
Nah, man, ain't nothing weird.
And since there's no particular order, one of mine is maximum clonage.
Really?
I like the maximum clonage too. It's not the best Spider-Man
clonage
story.
or carnage? Which one?
The clonage. I'm not carnage. I'm talking about the one where you get the clones of Spider-Man coming in and you get the Scarlet Spider and all of that stuff. To me was really interesting at the time. It was a fun thing. It's one of those things that I really like with Spider-Man, and it took it in some fun places where I have not necessarily loved a lot of things that they've done with Spider-Man recently. I really like House of M.
That's a good one.
I really like House of M.
That's a good one.
And I think that House of M is where so much of what Marvel has done in the modern world has come out of. So loving the implications of it. And it's one of the things that I think symbolize it shows a really good embodiment of Cyclops in one scene, just for one particular, when he gets his memories back. I love that part.
Well, Cyclops is the man, so
I know you love Cyclops, so
I do.
You get
I
your
did not know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh my God,
Cyclops is the best X-Men.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't appreciate that.
So this one is this might be nostalgia, but but going back and reading the trade of this, it holds up.
Okay.
The old G.I. Joe versus Transformers 80s storyline.
Oh wow.
And why that is good is because what people don't realize is that because they were cross promoting the whole run of those toys, they were writing these comics that technically had nothing to do with the old with the stuff, but they were written by real comic writers, and they were doing some fun stuff with those storylines. And the whole idea where the Joes and Cobras are on the wrong team at the beginning. Because the Decepticons have tricked the Joes and it's like, oh, they played around with this and really had some fun with it. And I was a big fan of those things in that point in time, and that's really my entry point into comics.
Jamar, you might have named the one comic book in the world I've never read.
Hey, it is what it is.
I've never read it.
I love it.
Amazing.
It's still
I'm like racking my brain. I was like, I have not read that.
For one thing, it's probably a few years older than you.
It doesn't matter. Come on now, you know that doesn't matter.
It is what if you find
as much books as I got.
This is true.
But what's that? 3 or 4?
I'm on. Let's see. House of M, Transformers, Clonage, Saga, which I have not finished. Not even close to finishing.
That's a good one.
I had a friend who recommended so hard to me. She put the first issue in my hand and said, "You're gonna like this. You're gonna read it." Bought it on the spot, and she was right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only in the first trade for that. I got to get.
It is such a good, engrossing story, and I need to go ahead and move on to the next set. And I'm gonna just throw in Hush. And it's some people may say it's basic, but I was so intrigued with that storyline when I read it, and it made me go back and read some other ones, and I found an appreciation for stuff like No Man's Land. It's because I read Hush.
Okay. All right, Ro. Plenty of time, man.
So I'm no particular order. First, I'm gonna go with Bitterroot. Okay. Really digging that series.
All right. Good dudes all around. I met all of them. No, I didn't meet David Walker yet, but I met the artist.
Word. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
Good dudes. Good dude.
Then I'm gonna go the Black Mirror. That was the Batman graphic novel.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I forget who wrote that, but yeah,
that was Snyder, wasn't it?
Oh, was it Snyder?
It might have been Snyder. It might have been Snyder.
Yep.
Bro, like if you haven't learned by now, I tell this to everybody. My memory for comic books is insane, and I wish I could use this for. So I wish I had it for something else, for anything else.
Keep doing this long enough, and it's gonna come in handy.
I'm hoping. God didn't bless me with this gift.
Keep doing this long enough.
All right, go ahead, man. That's 2.
All right, then I'm gonna go. We mentioned this earlier. I'm gonna go with East West.
Okay,
that's Jonathan Hickman. It's 10. They did 10 volumes of that. It's really dope.
I gotta check this out.
Yeah, it's really dope.
It's in my Amazon cart right now.
Word. Then I put I put House of M on here. House of M. I really enjoyed that. That was a great run. I really like when they do like alternate stuff and they switch it up on you. So I really like that. And then I'm gonna go Black Science, that's Rick Remender.
Yeah. Good art, great art on that too. Great art on that. Okay, all right.
There you go.
Yeah, I got my bit. Yeah. It's funny, you guys everybody. I liked House of M, but I prefer. So there's a run. I don't know if you've read these. They're done. Most of them by. His name just literally escaped me. But there's an X-Men run. To me, is like one of the best X-Men run. It's when they were on the island, Utopia.
Oh, I don't know if I read that.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm not gonna. I can't let this happen. Hold on.
All right.
Oh,
there you go. Sorry, everybody. Matt Fraction.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Matt Fraction's X-Men run is phenomenal to me. And it really does. I like you said, I like Cyclops. This to me, if you read his run, you'll like Cyclops too. This is Cyclops at his most militant. But I that's my favorite run of X-Men outside of like the classic John Byrne and Chris Claremont. But I liked House of M. It was a little thin for me. I thought they were gonna go deeper, and they didn't. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I thought they were gonna go deeper into what like a world that was truly run by mutants would be. Right, and they never went as deep as like it was one of those where like they went deeper in all the like
the side story stuff,
the side books.
Yeah, they did because I read like that whole. I read a lot of those.
So I'm not gonna buy 50,000 books. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that crossover dude anymore. Like that used to be me back in the day. Like all right, I got to get this, and I don't do that anymore. Like if your storyline isn't in this book, and I can't read this book, then I'm going to be frustrated. So I think that's why I get frustrated with House of M. Because I was expecting them to go a little bit more, and then I find out later on that all the stuff that they went in depth in are in all the other books. So it's like either I get a huge omnibus that's this big, and then I gotta slug through. But those are all.
If you think about it, that's really the blueprint that Marvel's using for their movies.
I mean, they've been doing that for years. Yeah, it's true though. It's true. But at least that's like, it's like one after the other. Like they never have a movie happening the same time as a TV show is on. You know what I mean? It's always like one or the other, like, one after the other. So, I mean, I always appreciate that. But when it comes to like crossovers, I don't really do that anymore. Like, it's got to be like, I need it in this book. If it's not in this book, then I'm going to be frustrated at you. This I mean, I always appreciate your I appreciate that you bring like more stories that aren't superheroes. Like you enjoy that. Have you ever tried Ex Machina?
No.
That's a good one. Check that one out. It's by Brian K. Vaughan, same guy that does Saga.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah. It's about if a superhero decided he would do more good as the mayor of New York.
Okay.
He quits and becomes the mayor.
Word. Okay. I'm gonna check
that. There's another book. It's a superhero book, but it's not. Irredeemable.
Yeah, I read that.
I love Irredeemable, man.
Yeah.
That to me, that's the best evil Superman book.
Word. Did you read Incorruptible?
I did. I had yes, Incorruptible. Yep. I read. I got 3 trades over there. They're out of print. So you gotta search hard for I didn't get to read the end of the story.
Yeah, I don't think I read the whole thing either, but I just remember reading I don't even know if I finished Irredeemable now that I think about it.
No, I finished Irredeemable. I got the whole run over there. I was searching for a long time for the last trade. And I couldn't find it, and I forget where I found it. I think it was at a Comic-Con or so. Are you going to be anywhere that you want to tell people?
Not yet.
Have you done any cons?
I haven't yet. I want to do some cons. So I hadn't really done cons because I wanted to. I'm not going to go to a con until I have something, you know what I'm saying, to be at a con for. So now I got my first comic book, you know what I'm saying, and we're about to do the second one. And so now that I'm having more material, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to start making some plans because I've been listening to y'all's conversation about, how to. I don't agree with Danny that it's a scam, but I do think you got to be smart. I think you got to be smart and strategic so that it is, profitable for you. And so that's something that I'm, really researching and looking into and planning towards, you know what I'm saying? Actually, me and Kayla was talking about that today, actually, about how we're going to,
Yeah, I mean, I would say work, like if y'all could get a table together and she could sell like prints, if she does prints and stuff like that, and then you could sell the book at the same time, then you guys would do well. I know it's hard. It's very difficult if you have like one book or two. Like I've seen people who do it and they just have their one book and hey, you can do it. I mean, if you want to sell your one book, knock it out. But my first con, I had 3. I had like my first 3 books of Heat. And so I was able to be like, all right, you can get 3 for, what was it? It was like 3 for 10 or something like that. Yeah. And I actually I made a profit because each book costs like, X amount of money.
Right.
Thought I was going to say it. X amount of money to make. So, but it is, I've seen people do it with one book and I've seen people do it with a million books. Comic-Cons are, once you realize that it's really like, yes, you're there to sell, but it's more about your brand and it's more about networking.
Yeah.
And just making sure people know who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the one thing Danny did say that was correct is that they're expensive. I know Dragon Con in Atlanta is like $500 for a table. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't do that and then pay, travel. But I have adopted a new methodology where I'm like, I'm just going to lock down anywhere within driving distance.
Yeah.
So any con or show or whatever that's within driving distance that I can do, I'm going to do it. Usually those are cheap. Usually those like $50 for a table. You go, you lock down, make sure everybody in your area knows who you are and knows that you do comics. And when they hear your name, they know you. And then usually, as you start to do better and get and build your audience, you can branch out and go to and you get more product. Then you can go out and go to like a different area. Like I was blessed and able to do Dragon Con before the pandemic. Jamari helped me out to do that, and it's nice to branch out because you gotta using like different skills because it's easy like when you're local because you're like I'm from Connecticut and people are like people they'll support local people just because you're from Connecticut, but when I'm in Atlanta and I'm they're like, oh, you're local, I'm like, nah, but you like this book.
right
but you gonna like this book, you know what I mean? So it's all about selling, man, and you probably ain't gonna have no problem selling.
I have a local event you can go to next year. I seriously do.
Ours in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. I was like, you talking to me. You talking to me. I didn't know he was in Atlanta.
Yeah, I've started running a event, and since it just came to me, it's like I have a big high school building. I don't have to pay for it. And I have a club full of kids who love comics, anime, and anything of genre. So I said, why don't I bring that energy to the school?
Yeah, word.
So I got to do it this year, and it was on Wing and a Prayer. I had some vendors come out. They sold comics. I had somebody selling art. We had somebody else coming in too with their written works. And I'm trying to make that bigger next year. I'm trying to fill that whole. I got a big area I'm trying to fill up with people to bring their stuff in, and I want people to come in and talk to my students because I have kids who are aspiring writers and aspiring artists.
Yeah, word. Yeah, yeah. Let me know.
So I am absolutely serious. And even if you just want to come in and if you have time to speak to my children and let them see, because it's not, when I do my event, it's not strictly just for the school. It's for anyone who comes in, and it's definitely youth focused, but it is I'm trying to make this into something within the next few years. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely.
A local space, and I guarantee you next year I will not charge you for a table.
Okay. Word. Let me know.
Like just do, especially you're in Atlanta, so there's
there's events.
There's so much in Georgia, between Georgia and Florida, like wherever you can drive, like for real, like you should be doing like MegaCon, which is in Orlando, yeah. That's like an 8-hour drive. I mean, I can't drive 8 hours anymore, but
Birmingham has several events.
Yeah.
Nashville has several events. Atlanta,
you should be locking down the
bringing events here. Like there's stuff I'm like, they have an event here in Atlanta for that. So
yeah, I'm not trying to mansplain Comic-Cons to you. I'm just,
no. I appreciate
giving my 2 cents, because it's so much easier when you don't have to pay for flights and hotel and everything like that. You know, if you just paying for gas. I mean, if you could play for a hotel, like, me, I'm doing Boston in August, and I'm going to do a hotel because I'm not driving. Boston's 2-hour drive for me. So I'm just going to get a hotel up there, and then I'll drive up, and all I'm paying for is my table and gas and a hotel. Right. And I'll make back that by the end of the trip. But if I do like Atlanta, if I do Dragon Con, I got to pay for flight, hotel, rental, yada, yada, yada. So, but yeah, man, like wherever you can cut corners for money, absolutely.
Cool.
You know, so, but I mean, you got a really good product. You got a very iconic. You got T-shirts, yes, you do. You have a very iconic and a very eye-catching cover. So you're gonna have people there anyway. So listen, if you are looking for a really cool story about legacy, and a lot of parents and children and how they relate, y'all got to pick up Scarlet Ranger. And they got a Kickstarter for Scarlet Ranger #2. There's the cover for it right here. Man, you should holler at me, man. Holler at me, dude. I definitely I can contribute to your Kickstarter for a cover.
Okay, word.
Just you gotta remind me.
We'll chop about it.
I don't have a receptionist or a secretary. So stuff gets lost. Because I'll tell people, hey, I'll do one, and then they won't hit me up later, and I'll be like, oh man, I forgot.
Right.
I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm just totally forgot. But I got some time coming up. Just let me know, man. We definitely do a Scarlet Ranger cover.
Cool, man.
Talented individual. I'm so glad I got an opportunity to talk with you. So glad we got an opportunity to talk with you. And we're definitely going to be on the lookout. And as always, when you do stuff, don't worry about it. We will support you. Post your stuff on our Stoked Podcast. And we will definitely hope to have you on again at some point. Sure. Let us know whenever you're doing another campaign, and we definitely let that happen.
For sure.
So everyone, I want to go ahead.
I just want to say I appreciate you for having me on, man. It was great, chopping it up with you and Jamari. And I appreciate what you're doing for the community as well, man. Fostering these conversations in this community. It's something special, man. So I just appreciate you and doing what you do, man, for real.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. I like talking. If you haven't noticed, I like talking. And, I can only, chew my wife's ear off so long. So now I got to chew y'all ears off every Thursday and Tuesday.
Right.
Until you're tired of me.
Right.
But thank you, everybody, for coming and watching the show. As always, you can go to visuallystoked.com and watch previous shows. My Kickstarter campaign for my book coming out now, Strong Zero. Boom, right there. Look at that beautiful, strong woman. It is an all ages book, so anybody can read it. Your 5-year-old, your 3-year-old. I think everybody enjoy my incredibly powerful Afro-Latina superhero that's in the same universe as Heat. And as always, if you want to buy Heat, go buy Heat. That's my baby. I love Heat. We're gonna have a Scarlet Ranger Heat crossover at some point. Probably around the same time I do a crossover with Danny and Morgan's characters.
Me.
I'm so bad. I'm so terrible. I'm so bad, man. But they always forget, though. They always forget too, man. I'd be like, hey, let me know. But we are busy. But as always, folks. Oh, next week, the lovely Diamond Downs founder and owner of Gahati. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Diamond Downs is going to be on. Looking forward to that conversation. And as always, we appreciate you. And please stop by next week. Take care, everybody.